In the grand empire of Persia, where kings ruled with absolute power and wealth filled the palaces, one young woman would be chosen for a purpose far greater than she could imagine. Her name was Esther. Unknown to the world, but known by God, her courage would one day save an entire nation. This is her story, a story of faith, courage, and destiny. Before Esther's rise, there was Queen Vashti. At a royal feast, King Xerxes demanded her presence, but she refused to obey. Her defiance cost her the crown. To replace her, the king commanded that the most beautiful women of the empire be brought before him. Among them was Esther, a humble Jewish girl raised by her cousin Mordecai. She was unlike the others. She carried a quiet strength, a grace beyond beauty, and God's hand was upon her. When the king saw Esther, his heart was moved, and he placed the royal crown upon her head. Little did anyone know, God was raising her up for such a time as this. But in the shadows of the palace, darkness was at work. Haman, the king's highest official, burned with hatred when Mordecai refused to bow before him. Pride consumed him, and his anger grew into a deadly plan, to destroy not only Mordecai, but the entire Jewish people. A decree was written, sealed with the king's ring, and doom seemed certain. Yet even when evil plots in secret, God is always at work in the unseen. The enemy always plots, but God always has a plan. When Mordecai learned of Haman's plot, he tore his clothes and wept in the streets. He sent word to Esther, "Do not think that you will escape in the king's house. Who knows if you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Esther's heart trembled with fear. To approach the king without being called was to risk death. Yet she knew silence was not an option. She asked her people to fast and pray for 3 days. On the third day, clothed in royal garments, Esther entered the king's court. The air was heavy with tension. Every step could be her last. But Esther whispered the words that would define her destiny, "If I perish, I perish." And as she stood before the throne, the king extended his golden scepter. Her courage had opened the way for deliverance. Esther prepared a banquet for the king and Haman. As wine was poured and laughter filled the hall, Esther revealed the truth: the enemy who seeks to destroy us is this wicked Haman. The king's face darkened with fury. Haman's pride collapsed into terror. That very night, Haman was taken away and executed on the gallows he had built for Mordecai. And in the days that followed, the Jewish people were saved. Mordecai was honored, and Esther's courage became the story of hope for generations. The story of Esther reminds us of this truth: courage is not the absence of fear, but trusting God in the face of fear. One woman's bravery changed the fate of her people. And even now, God is raising ordinary people to do extraordinary things. Like Esther, you too have been placed where you are, for such a time as this.